Greetings, my name is Paul, and I am the lead research technician here at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I'm also the administrator of the Pop! OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Auto-cpufreq on Pop! OS Linux 22.04. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so what is Auto-cpufreq? Well, first I want you to know that Auto-cpufreq was short for Auto-CPU frequency. So it's shortened to freq, F-R-E-Q. And it's an automatic CPU speed and power optimizer for Linux. And it actively monitors your laptop battery state, CPU usage, CPU temperature, and system load, ultimately allowing you to improve your battery life without making any compromises. Okay, it's not a GUI program, so you can't run it as a regular app that you're all used to running on their desktop. It's a TUI, not a GUI. So it's not a GUI, but a TUI, a text user interface, which means you can't run it on the desktop with our mouse pointer, but we're going to have to run it in the terminal here, like this. So it's only text-based here, so no mouse pointer will be usable, and you're going to have to use the keyboard, okay? Okay, so let's get into the installation here. And the one app or program or tool you're going to have is called Git. Now I already have it on here, Git version 2.34. Okay, that should be good enough. So you're gonna have to have Git, and try to make it the most current version or whatever. This is good enough for our purposes here for installing Auto-cpufreq. Okay, so you're gonna have to have Git because we're gonna have to use Git to pull in some code from the internet from GitHub, and then once we have the that folder stored on our home in our home directory, then we're going to change directory into it, CD into it, and we're going to run the installer. Pretty simple. Not a lot of steps here to get going, as far as the method that I'm going to show. It's using the source code, but it's not downloading the source code separately in a zip file, because that's not really advised by the Auto-cpufreq developers. According to them, this is from them. I quote, "As Auto-cpufreq relies on Git-based versioning, users are advised to install Auto-cpufreq using git clone method only," which is what I'm going to show you, instead of going to their page and downloading their zip file. They say that if you download their source code as a zip from the release section on their GitHub repo, it will emit build errors, and they give some examples on their documentation on their GitHub page. Okay, so we're not going to download the zip file or their tar file or whatever and then run it that way. Well, we're going to have Git fetch the code, the source code, that way. Okay, so we're not going to just download the zip file. Okay, good. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, go ahead and clear on that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep the video rolling here while I type in the first command here. I'm going to use git clone. I don't know if you're a developer, you probably use this a lot to clone repos from GitHub. Okay, so I'm going to key all this in here. Bear with me really quick. github.com, and then slash, this is the person's name, I guess, Adnan Hodzik. It's kind of hard to pronounce. Okay, Adnan, yeah, that looks good. Hodzik, okay, and then slash auto-cpu frequency, okay, with the .git extension. Okay, so let's give it the once over here. So we're going to use the Git tool to clone, which means it's going to pull in this source code here from this remote GitHub repo at this URL. And you can just read it right here, https://github.com. Adnan Hodzik, I do believe I spelled that correctly. Yeah, that's right. Auto-cpufreq. So it's going to create an auto CPU frequency folder in our home directory. So once we clone this in, we'll try to spot it there, and then we'll cd into it and run the installer that way. Okay, so once we have that keyed all that keyed in properly, and we gave it the once over, we'll go ahead and enter on that. Okay, that's what I expected. It cloned into that folder, or that repo, whatever, and it pulled it in. And everything looks good here. No errors there. Okay, so Auto-CPU has been pulled into our local environment. Now we can work with it. Okay, so let's clear on that. And I'm in the home directory here. Okay, home Paul. So we'll clear on that. And then we're going to try to spot that folder here. I'm expecting for there to be one called Auto-cpufreq. Yeah, okay, here it is. It wasn't here before. I didn't show you, but it was not here before. But it's here now. So we're going to cd into this folder here, and then we're going to run the installer. Okay? Alright, okay. So clear on that, and then issue the cd command, change directory. Type in A, hit the tab key. Let's see if it auto-completes. Okay, it didn't auto-complete. AU, okay, that's good. See what I did there? This is called auto-complete. AU, tab key, and it finds it. Okay, good. So we're going to cd into that folder. Clear on that. We can take a little quick look, see what's in here. ls-a. Okay. And the name of the installer is going to be /auto-cpufreq-installer. But we can take a quick look around, see what else is in here. Okay, there's a bunch of other files that we're not going to really deal with right now. Okay, we're going to deal with mainly this one here, this installer. Okay, let's take a look. It looks like it's already executable. It's green. Let's take a look and see exactly what kind of a file that is here. So I'm going to use the file command. And I'm going to pass in the name of the installer. Okay, this one right here, the one in green. Okay, let's just see what it says here. Okay, it's a shell script. Okay, yep, it's a bash shell script. Okay, good. Okay, so it's a shell script. Okay, and we don't need to I don't need to, dump the contents into an editor and take a look at it. It's a shell script. But you can do that later on your own if you want to open it in some kind of a terminal or a desktop code editor and take a look, a text editor, code editor, whatever, and take a look and see what commands are in this bash shell script. Okay, good. But it's executable and we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to clear on that. All right. And the last step is executing the bash shell script. So I'm going to use sudo, and then I'm going to go ahead and // and key in the name of the script here, the script file. Okay, that's good. Sudo / auto-cpu frequency-installer. Okay. That looks good. Everything all staged up really good here. Okay. And then just hit enter. And let's see what happens here. Okay, it's going to kind of give me kind of a wizard here to kind of step through. Let's see how many steps we're going to have to go through to get the installation complete. Okay, welcome. Select the key. Install, remove. Okay, it looks like I need to go I for install. So I'm going to press small I here. Enter on that. Okay. That initiated the execution of the bash script, the bash shell script file here. Okay, I think it's almost done here. I'm not going to pause the video, I don't think, because I think we're reaching the end here. Let's see if there's any errors. think we're almost done here. Everything looks good. Okay, we're under the green progress bar here. I guess we can watch it together and see what happens here. Very verbose. A lot of unpacking, a lot of installing. And I'll pause it and I'll be back when it's done. Well, actually, it's almost done here. Yeah, it's going pretty quick. Okay, we're almost at 100% here. I feel like we're almost at the end here. My first time installing it, so I'm not really quite sure what to expect. Looks like it's going to use my pip installation. I guess I already had pip installed. I'm not sure if I already had pip installed or not, or it's downloading pip. Anyway, it's downloading. It's going to use pip, which is the Python package manager, and it's going to download some more Python packages. Everything looks pretty good though. Let's see here. There's a little bit of an error there, looks like. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem or not. I guess we'll find out. Didn't really stick there, so maybe it's okay. Alright, well, I'll have to deal with... Okay, well, it did say it installed successfully. There's a lot of output here to go over, but essentially, it does seem like, you know, the installation was successful, as witnessed by this statement right here. Auto-CPU frequency tool successfully installed. Okay, so it's been installed. Now, normally, you think that you would find, you know, an app that you install in your application folders here, but it's not going to be here. It's not going to be in utilities. No Auto-cpufreq here. Nothing in the system. You're not going to find it here, okay? I already said that, but I just want to make sure that there's no entries anywhere. I'm not expect. Oh, there is actually one here. Okay, was not expecting that. It said, according to their documentation, I thought it was text-based only, but I guess there is a. Okay, so you can launch this on your own. We'll launch it and see what happens. I was not expecting there to be a GUI option there, actually. Now let's see what happens here. Is it going to launch? Not launching. Not sure what's going on. Go back to it one more time here. See if we can get the launch here. If it doesn't launch, I need to look into that. Otherwise, we're just going to have to use it in the terminal only then. Okay, it's not launching. I need to look into that later. I was not expecting for there to be a GUI entry, but I'll deal with that later. Was not expecting that, so I need to figure out why that's not running. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so it did say it was successfully installed, and that's pretty much about it. I'll post the documentation, which is part of their GitHub repo, so you can see usage, and there's a lot of stuff to really go. It's pretty involved, the different things you can do with it. So I'm not going to get into that. I'll post a link to their GitHub page so you can take it at your own leisure. I do want to actually do a couple things in the terminal really quick. Okay, you see right here, this help option here, that's one I'm going to show, and then we'll try to see if we can get a version on it. So we're clear on that. Okay. I'd like to go back to my home root here. And let's see what the command line keyword to launch it is. I do believe it's going to be the same thing. Auto-cpufreq. Okay, good. So you see what I did there. I typed in A, tab nothing, AU, and then it completes the actual the keyword command that you can use to access the Auto-CPU frequency engine. Okay? So enter on that. Let's see what happens. Okay? Yeah. So if you pass any of these flags into the engine, you'll get a bunch of help and usage, and you can get the version here. Let's see what. There's not a lot here. Let's see what the version is. We'll show you the version, and we'll end the video there. Okay, so let's see what the version is. Probably going to be pretty recent there for whatever their new version is. Okay, let's see here. Pop! OS, that's my kernel, and the version of Auto-CPU frequency is 2.60. 2.6.0. 2.6 essentially. Okay, good. Alright, so that's pretty much about it. And I need to look into why the GUI didn't launch. Otherwise, you just launch it with the Auto-CPU frequency keyword, and then between looking up the usage here and on their website, then you can get an idea of how it's going to work for you, and how are you going to use it to extend your battery life and manage your power profile or whatever. Okay? So that'll do it for the video. I'm going to go ahead and clear on that. Go back to my fast fetch screen as I close the video out. By the way, fast fetch and screen fetch are the new ways of fetching system information, because NeoFetch has been deprecated and it's abandoned. It's called abandonware now. So I would just use fast fetch to get your system information. Okay, so that was how to install Auto CPU frequency on Pop! OS Linux 22.04. And once again, I am Paul, and I am the lead research technician at the How to Linux Research Labs, and I'm also the administrator of the Pop! OS Linux Facebook group on Facebook. Please join, even if you don't run Pop. If you like to talk about other distros and tech news and tech personalities, I allow a wide variety of discussions. So please join. The link will be in the description of the video. And until my next video, happy Linuxing.